Hi, Christian. Hey, Christian, are we live? Well, just in case we are, welcome to qualifying of round 2 of the F4 Championship, hosted by Petrolhead Sim Racing. Here at Brands Hatch Indy, we've got 6 minutes of qualifying remaining. We've got a grid of 19 cars here today, and we've got 14 times. 6 minutes to go, and it looks like Costa is on pole position, followed by P. Campos, Andy Darnell, Soritas Moraitis, and Deadhead. We're in for good evenings here tonight. So this is a sub 60-second lap, which I think is going to make this race pretty interesting, because I guess Brands Hatch Indy is a really close quarters track. I think it's going to induce some pretty good racing, or like some pretty exciting passes. It's hard to overtake here, so only the best will make the moves. Who's gonna send it to turn 1, and who's going to slip by in the Well, I'm not really sure what to expect here tonight, but it's gonna be good. Moraitis takes 3rd place ahead of Darnell and Lowen. I'm sorry that I haven't been here for a little bit. I was busy with a friend. So Fotis Isaglo, he's having a pretty good run at the minute. He's in P7. So basically I'm just waiting for something to happen, really. Deadhead's in 3rd place now. Deadhead was a really good midfielder during the first round at Hockenheim. It's like seeing him at the front like this in qualifying looks to be a really good race. And if I do sound a little bit hoarse, I do have a throat infection at the minute, so my voice isn't the best. So please excuse me. Robert Amos is set to be on a personal best. He's currently in 10th. He improves to nothing because he lost too much time during this 3rd sector. He's going to be making another attempt now for the last 3 minutes. Deadhead in P3. He's on a personal best. He's 1/10 off of pole. It's probably where he's losing that time to Campos. He's almost purple, and he goes straight on. And into the oblivion goes Deadhead. He was set to be just almost onto a personal best. But yeah, seems to be a little bit of a Shadow Realm moment for Deadhead. And the other director is still not doing a damn thing about it. Unfortunately. Kibovich, if you could do something about the team viewer, or what should we call it, the race director, it looks to be a little bit broken. And it seems like the server crashed. We're going to have to... I'm not sure what happened. I'm looking in the Discord right now, and apparently the server crashed. And that's why Deadhead went into the oblivion, so bit of a red flag for the minute. We'll be back to you shortly, I'm sure. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. And Kubovich, please wake up. Kubovich, if you'd... Oh, never mind. Kubovich, I've got the password copy and pasted, so just let me do it for a sec. So, never mind. And we got it. So sorry for everyone sorry for everyone for the downtime. We had a little bit of a server issue. Down to the hoster's issue. Very sorry for the inconvenience. But we're going to be back racing now shortly. Thank you for sticking around, whoever did. So we're back in it. 12 more minutes of qualifying to go. The leaderboard is wiped, and we've still got people exiting the pits to start their flying laps. So, let's see for another 12 minutes of qualifying to see how everyone stacks up and what we can expect for our front runners for today. And we've gotten a few more times on the table already. 47.2 for Soteris Moraitis. And the 10th faster goes Campos. He's in pole position at the minute as everyone else starts to leave the pits. There is not a single car in the pits at the minute. Everyone else is on our flying lap. 19 cars last time I checked, so let's have a look and see what the running order is for today. Round 2, Brands Hatch, Indy, the Formula 4 Championship. Hey Christian, if you don't mind, can you please stick on auto director on the website, please? So, we have 9 drivers here at the moment on the leaderboard, so here's a rundown for the minute. Campos is in pole position with a 46.7. Moraitis is 4 tenths behind in second. Fotis Issago around 15 hundredths of a second behind in third place. Deadhead is in fourth, 6 tenths behind the leader. Fifth is Amist. Sixth is Andy Darnell. Seventh is P. Ganja. Eighth is Juan Estrian. And ninth is Andy Foster. Silvio Pirelli. Pirelli is a new contender here today in the F4 series. So hopefully he's ran in some practice because this is a pretty tough competition. Yeah, I've seen him hang out a lot in the All Cars server, so he's pretty quick. So let's see if he's ever practiced this specific track before, or if he practices any other track. Andy Darnell's gone 5th fastest ahead of Deadhead. Dave Ziska, he's a really good midfield runner in Super GT. But Ziska is also pretty good with the formulas, as you'll come to find, as soon as he gets a good lap in to improve his P11. And he does, he improves the P8. Or P9 now. Here comes Andy Darnell, he's on a purple first sector, personal best second sector. So can he improve? P5. And he goes second fastest behind Campos. Costa and Antonio Costa is in third place as well. Deadhead dropping down the order back in 8th place. but he's on a personal best. Will he improve? Let's see. Let's have a look. See. Deadhead goes 5th fastest, behind Mauritius. 4 40 hundredths of a second off. The ones to watch seems to be going down in twos today. Everyone seems to be incredibly close together in how fast they're running. But I remember... Oh, Antonio Costa has managed to pull ahead of Darnell. But they're still really close together. I guess what I'm thinking, because the timing on the leaderboards looked a little bit different. Like when I joined earlier last session before the server crashed, and might be looking at an indicator that it might not be as done and dusted as we seems after qualifying, because people are going to have to keep it consistent. Someone's in the gravel trap back at the final turn. People are going to have to evade that as he comes back onto the track. Ralph Bart in P15, he's on a personal best, or was. He's on P14 at the minute. Goes wide at turn 1, he's going to have an invalidated lap. Someone's going across the track on the grass. Silvio Pirelli in P10 at the minute. He's on P5 now. He improved very well. He's a lightning quick driver from the all-car servers. And he was finally coaxed into a league by someone. I'm sure people who've hanged out in Raceroom before will recognize him. Psycho Ganja in 14th place. He's going to be... Like, he just missed out barely on the podium in round 1. But he's going to be in pretty good position to strike again tonight, if he plays his cars right. Or if he qualify both the top 10, that is. P13 at the minute. Campos in pole position is on two purple sectors. He's taking the slipstream of the yellow car in front of him. Doesn't quite improve though, made a little bit too many mistakes in the final sector. Monster Energy car of Antonio Costa in 2nd place has posted a first sector purple. 2 sectors are purple for Antonio Costa. Just has to finish off the lap now, and he's got pole position. Current pole lap is 46.7. New one is 46.6. So he's managed to shave a whole 10th off that. So Campos is going to have to find pace somewhere. Mauritius was pretty high up last time as well, like before the server crashed. So he's back in P5 at the minute. Goes a little bit wide. Here's the 44 of Paulo Campos. Remember that number, the orange car, orange 44. He was the previous pole sitter, but he's dropped back to P2 now. He's going to keep trying to steal pole back from Antonio Costa. Someone stopped dead in their tracks at the end of the lap there. Hopefully they'll hold escape. So 2.5 minutes to go. All 19 cars have qualified so far. Antonio Costa is in pole position ahead of Paulo Campos. Ahead of Deadhead in 3rd place for Brother Ups. 4th place is Andy Darnell. 5th is Mauritius. 6th is Siglo. P7 is Pirelli. P8 is Lowen. 9th is Kubovic. 10 is Amist. And Rodriguez and 20th tops off are back of the grid. usually with 2 minutes to go, it's usually like everyone's last lap, but people are gonna have to have time for around 2 more laps here because this is around this is definitely like a 50-second lap max. So that makes a lot more time than for more laps than usual in qualifying. More laps than usual than typical Grand Prix circuit anyway. Longer than Hockenheim. Same amount of time, but you can do more laps around here in that time. Deadhead in the 31 for Brother Ups. He's in P3 at the minute, as I previously said. Darnell's in P4, lining up next to him in the second row. They're both ones to watch. Their pace is pretty similar, as it looks like from the leaderboards. 50 seconds left. Alright, so this is going to be Deadhead's final lap before qualifying ends for him. He does not improve, so 25 seconds to go, and that is it. So, Antonio Costa for Tugas Racing International once again takes pole position, I think. Wait, did he? Who took pole position in Hockenheim? I can't remember. I have memory problems. But Campos is in second place, Privateer. Deadhead in third place for Brother Ops. Andy Darnell in fourth. Maritas fifth. Zuzagal sixth. Silvio Pirelli, a newcomer here, P7. Benjamin Lowen, P8. Christian Givovich, P9. Daniel Estrada is P10. That's your top 10, and you can read the next 10 if you care about them. Everyone seems to be super close together in this grid, so this is going to be a pretty exciting race to watch today. Super close quarters, lots of more laps than usual. It's a pretty short track for the amount of time we're racing here. I guarantee this is going to be the shortest track here that you're going to see in the Formula 4 Championship. We're planning to put in a few more Grand Prix circuits to fit in with the whole single-seater theme. So now it's a 4-minute warm-up. So people can get their setups into gear, put their fuel back up and whatever. And just get their mind into gear really for the race. You won't hear much from me. You won't hear very much from me for around 3 minutes, so I'm just gonna leave you on board with someone and get to know the track. Here we are on board with Andy Darnell. He's going to take you around Brands Hatch Indy while the intermission is underway. So while we wait for the warm-up to end, I just want to say a few things. Of course, this is like just a few things about the league, really. This is Race Room. This is the software, the racing simulator that we're using at the minute to, of course, race these virtual racing cars. And we're the community is Petrolhead Sim Racing, you know. Discord, we have a Discord server, and we are always free to, you know, it's always free to join if you wanted to check it out and compete in some of these races. So, yeah, if you can find out someone to invite you, I'd put a link myself, but it's a little bit, I'm lazy. But if you ever get an opportunity, check out Petrolhead Sim Racing, the Discord server, and some of the leagues that they've been doing on srleagues.com. You can join through there as well. Race Room itself is free. And maybe we can see you here racing in this grid. And also, we're a young channel as well. So, if you don't mind, giving a like and subscription is free. I mean, you don't have to subscribe if you don't want your inbox feeding up with these streams if you're only going to watch this once. But definitely give it a like. It's free. It could help us out a lot. We're very small. I know I'm not the best at commentating sometimes, but I try, and I'm also a bit sick at the minute. But I'm still here. You can take what you can get. So, it's nearly time, 30 seconds to go of warm-up. Brands Hatch Indy for round 2 of the Petrolhead Sim Racing F4 Championship. So, 20 seconds of silence before the calm before the storm. The silence before the strike. I don't know what the fuck I'm on about. Also want to give a massive thank you for Andy Darnell for allowing us to stream the races, because this is a Petrolhead Sim Racing event, and he allowed us to live stream it. So here we are. I forgot to mention that Andy Darnell is the head of Petrolhead Sim Racing, or should I say the Petrolhead? I'm terrible at jokes. Remind me never to do that again. But yeah, here's the first race. There's going to be 2 races this evening. One of them is going to be going off of the grid spots from qualifying, and another one is going to be a top 10 or a top 5 reverse grid. I can't remember which, but it's going to be a reverse grid for round 2. Any second now, these cars are going to be lining up. And there they are. 21 cars on the grid, 5 lights ahead of the drivers, 10 minutes of a sprint race to go. On the clock. Let's go! So, Antonio Costa keeps the lead. P. Campos is side by side with him. He has the inside of the next corner, but he doesn't make it happen. Into the first turn, at least. He's going to be following him side by side into the second turn. There's track carnage at the back. Andy Foster has crashed out early on. Campos has taken the lead early on from Antonio Costa, who's Andy Darnell's made places ahead of Deadhead at the start as well. Fotis Isinglaus in 5th, Low in 6th, Marita's 7th, Kubovic is making moves up in 8th, Ziska overtakes Almist in 10th. Kubovic loses a position, and there's a little bit of carnage back there in the 3rd sector. People are going, I don't know how that happened, but there's going to be a bit of talk of the stewards after the race about that. Antonio Costa is going to want the lead of the race back from Campos. Now it's going to be a battle to see who's the most consistent around the short track. But as Antonio Costa keeps tripping up over Campos, Andy Darnell and Deadhead are growing ever so nearer. They're right there behind the other drivers. They're too wide. Daniel Lastra behind them, another Monster Energy car, green car certainly. Lastra's looking to the inside of the green. But back at the front here, Antonio Costa is still hungry for that P1. He's 5/10ths behind. He's not going to be able to do much slipstreaming because there's not much of a straight here. Like, there's only one real straight here, and that's the start-finish straight. If it can even really call it a straight, that's someone off. It's one of the Monster Energy cars. It's not Costa because he's at the front. So one of the people at the back, or it's another thing. Henty Foster, the one who crashed at the start earlier, is retired. And so is Silvio Pirelli. He's DNF'd as well. He might have had a little bit of a accident at the start of the race. But here we go. Costa's still working at it. Campos is doing a very good job at defending his lead. He's putting his car in all the right places to make sure that Monster Energy car behind him doesn't get ahead of him. And both of them are starting to pull a gap ahead of Andy Darnell and Deadhead. But the two of them are still fighting over the vacant podium place right now as we speak. Psycho Ganjo's given a slowdown penalty because he's been abusing the track limits. This is a tough track, so it's understandable, but still, everyone else is nailed. So why not Psycho Ganjo? We have to figure that out after the race. Givovic and Ganja have been both given out to. That's a really big tank slapper into Pedro Azevedo in P17. The black car ahead of him, P16, is a little bit of a bold person, for lack of a better term. Probably is, but I'm lazy. Antonio Costa in the Monster Energy car, still behind Campos. And that's a spinner, the 13 of Benjamin Lowen. I think his car is totaled. He's dropping places left, right, and center. Lowen is losing second after second. I think his car is dead. Benjamin Lowen is out of this race, I believe. He's just after having a massive accident. I'm not sure what was involved, but very big rest in peace to our boy Benjamin Lowen, who DNF'd from this race. Nonetheless, Andy Darnell and Deadhead are still 1/10 off of each other, but they're dropping off the leaders pretty quickly. From where I see it, there's three trains of cars. There's the top two fighting for the lead at the minute, the third and fourth, who are fighting for the final podium spot, and around 5 seconds back from Deadhead is Moraitis and another train of cars fighting for midfield positions. And that's another spinner, that's another Monster Energy car, Psycho Ganja. He's fallen off and he's going to lose positions now because of his mistake. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 positions he's lost now in the gravel trap. He's going to have to be very careful as Azevedo might be capitalizing off him next. There's 5 positions from Psycho Ganja. That's very, very poor from the German. Campos goes wide. Costa makes the move happen into turn 1, lap 8. 4 minutes to go. Campos needs to take this race lead back. He's hanging around 4/10ths back. But yeah, that's what happened if your mind falters for even one turn during this track. Super close quarters, and it's hard to overtake anywhere else. You need to be on your game on this track. Andy Darnell and Deadhead. I haven't talked about them very much, but they've been fighting very hard for the last podium place. Like, as we've been talking about Antonio Costa, Campos, Polo's going to have a look at the lead now. He's going to try and get his back. Castro car of Deadhead is chasing Andy Darnell for third place. Quite literally bumper to bumper. He's looking for any little way he can slip by the Petrohead sim racing car. But he's going to have to wait a little bit longer, but he's only got 3 minutes left to go to get this move done and get third place. As does Paulo Campos. He's in the same situation, but he's got to take his win back. That was his win. He needs to take it back. If only Antonio Costa would make a mistake, thinks Paulo Campos, as he did, the same one he did going into turn 1. That would be a dream scenario for Campos. Campos is on the inside of Antonio Costa. Makes it happen to turn 2. Car behind Lastra's doing a bit of a Tokyo drift into the T1. Lastra himself is P6, so he's behind another Monster Energy car going into P7. Going into P5. He's fighting for P5 in the midfield. He's fighting Moraitis, the head of the midfield pack. Here we are on board with Lastra. It's very, very tough going for the privateer. But he's behind Moraitis, and he's going to want to get past and get as much points as possible for himself in the championship. P5 is right ahead of him. He thinks he's certainly got the pace to do it, but can he make it happen on the short track? Antonio Costa is still trying to... Costa's after making a mistake earlier, as did Campos, even before him. We've had a few lead changes here today between these two drivers. There's certainly a few more to go, with 1.5 minutes to go on the clock. We've got around 3 laps left of running. Antonio Costa is trying to make a move on the inside. Paulo Campos, he gets it done. He's going to have to be careful to cover off any switchback that Campos makes. But Antonio Costa, the pole sitter, is back in the lead here. The 42 versus the 44. Daniel Lastra is still fighting Soteris Moraitis with P5. He's certainly got the pace to do it, but he just needs to find a way past. Moraitis needs to make a mistake ahead of him if he wants to get past. Here's Campos again. This is the final lap of the race, lap 13. This is his last chance to get this win back. Costa just needs to keep it 1 more lap, just to keep it from slipping away. Look at this. This Lastra. He's going to try the outside, but he backs out. He's not going to have enough momentum going into that corner. He's just trying to find any way possible to try weasel past, but Kubovic is behind him. He just needs to keep his move. Just need to hold his line. Kubovic makes a move, and he's... Oh dear. That's a really big accident between 2 cars. There are 2 cars of the same livery involved in that crash, but one of them got away. Not sure what happened there, but that's really bad behavior. Ricardo Costa and P12. That's where you'll finish. So your sprint race winner, Antonio Costa, at Brands Hatch Indy, round 2. So P2 goes to Campos, Paulo Campos. He's been pretty good. He had plenty of opportunities to take the win, but he just made too many mistakes. And Antonio Costa managed to pounce on that opportunity. Andy Darnell has managed to defend from Deadhead long enough to take third place. Deadhead will have to settle for fourth. Lastra is in P5. He managed to overtake Maritas, or did he? Like, I'm not sure what happened there at the end. Like that collision. Like I think Maritas got spun. Whatever happened there, he's gonna have to settle. Maritas is gonna have to settle for P9. Kubovic P10. Well, that was the first race. Don't go anywhere. We're about to have a reverse grid here. So that means the front runners are going to have to start even further back than usual than they qualified. So they're going to have to make those position backs. And they're only going to take the win if they really deserved it, if it wasn't a fluke. If they really are a good racing driver. Just excuse the launcher for a second. Sometimes the video tool does this. When it transitions between races, sometimes it can get a little bit dicey. And we're loading back. Hopefully we're in time for race 2. So the top 5 or top 10 cars are going to be reversed in the grid. So that's going to spice up the racing. There's going to be a lot more passing now between some of the drivers here. So we're in for another 4-minute warm-up. So we've got another 4 minutes to wait until our reverse grid race. So that collision earlier, that's what happens when you try to go 3 wide on Brands Hatch. Yeah, this is a really incredibly tight track. Going 3 wide in the corner, into corner entry is a death sentence. But I suppose it was the last lap and you did see the door open. A driver named Ayrton Senna once said, "If you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver." Which was his excuse for dive bombing Alan Prost in 1990. But that isn't really good advice. Sometimes you gotta think about like your self-preservation. You need to survive the corner. Because sometimes if you go for a move at the end, that seems like almost impossible. If it works, you're a legend. But if it doesn't work, you look like a total idiot, and you've lost 3 positions because you spun. And you've also gotten, are also going to probably drop a few further penalties because the driver you hit is probably going to make an inquiry to the stewards after the race. So yeah, this is competitive. Play nice. Or else. So 1 minute 40 to go. Thank you those for staying with us so far. This is pretty exciting racing that we've got going on tonight. Free to join yourself if you ever have the stuff to do it. Of course, this is Starter Pack DLC, which is paid for a race room. The race room itself is free. So if you're ever wanting to take part in our series, go to srleagues.com and find our Formula 4 championship. It's free to join, and we've got healthy competition here. Just a second thank you for everyone who's joined us so far. Please, thank you for thinking. Ow, sorry, I still have a little bit of a cough, so please excuse me. So if you're enjoying I'm having a bit of a brain fart for the minute. If you're enjoying the stream, please remember to give the stream a like. And if you're keeping an eye on your favorite driver, what's your favorite driver in this grid? If you've been watching for a little while, who you're rooting for at the minute? Please give us a comment down in the comment section. Give us a little bit of help with the algorithm, eh? So Maritis and Kubovich are having a conversation in the Discord as we speak. They came into contact with each other after they went 3 wide into the final turn of Brands Hatch. They seem to be getting over it. They're still friendly, so we're not going to be seeing any revenge ramming into this next race. If that's what some of you are hoping for, that's not going to happen. There seems to be no bad blood between the two, so that's thankful. Cars are lining up now. So we got a reverse grid of the last race's results going into this race. Alright, here we are. Race 2. Lights ahead of the drivers. 19 drivers remaining. Out of the 21, and racing is go. Lastra in the lead, ahead of Deadhead. Andy Darnell's taking P2 from Deadhead. Deadhead drops to P4. Campos is in the third. Deadhead makes a pretty good recovery into third. Campos is dropping another position. He's side by side with Antonio Costa at the minute. They're 2 wide going to this turn. Paulo Campos is still in fourth, ahead of Antonio Costa. Going relatively single file now. One massive conga line. Orange car going around the outside. Doesn't make it quite stick. He doesn't have enough momentum. Or does he? Campos is behind Deadhead at the minute, bumper to bumper. He gets it done on the inside on turn 1. Paulo Campos is in third place, ahead of Deadhead for Petrolhead Sim Racing. Campos is having a bit of struggle. 3 wide again. There's going to be an accident. How did that not happen? How did an accident not happen? I don't know. I do not know. I cannot even words right now. There's so much chaos going on. Arthur Graw in 5th place. He's making great use of the reverse grid. He's very high up in the midfield this time right now. Lastra is retaining the lead very well, but Andy Darnell's behind, and he wants this win. A pair of 24 cars up front, in blue. Deadhead's dropped back to P6. He's going to have to try fight Graf for P5 now if he wants to improve his midfield position. Psycho Ganja has crashed into the wall. He's in the back now. Roberamis has taken P5 now, again. Gral's in P4 at the minute, on board with Daniel Lastra. Hang on, that wasn't whoever I said it was. That was Lastra. He crashed into the wall and now he's at the back. His chance to win in the bin as Andy Darnell pounces and takes first position ahead of Campos in second place and Antonio Costa in third. Groff in fourth is in prime midfield position. He's gonna have to hold it now for good points. Deadhead's side by side with the yellow car. I can't remember. There's too many yellows in this race. Deutsche Post cars, more than one. Christian Kubovic, meanwhile, is getting too many. He's cutting the track a lot. He's getting penalties for it. He's gonna have to slow down and let other drivers catch up to make up the time he's gained. Andy Darnell's lost the lead to Paulo Campos at the minute. Antonio Costa is chasing Andy Darnell. Darnell's gonna try keep it going into the first corner. He does. Darnell needs to pull off some pretty serious defending, but he doesn't. He's in third place now. Antonio Costa makes it up into second place. Now we have a car off. That was a grey car. I didn't catch quite who it was. That might be from who's plummeting down the standings. That's Ricardo Costa. Not related to Antonio Costa, but that's Ricardo Costa. He's in the wall in last place, and he might be retiring for this race. It looks like he's like Ricardo Costa looks like he's able to keep going, but he's not going to be very competitive now. He's smashed up his car to bits. 42 Monster Energy car, Antonio Costa, the other Costa. They're not really related. I've confirmed that. I've called them brothers in the past, but yeah, I was wrong. Campos is still in the lead. He wants to take that win that he missed out on so narrowly in race 1. Deadhead is going to want to take 5th away from Amist and try and improve his midfield position in the Castrol car. Deadhead's going to try it around the outside. He's going to switch it, maybe? He's trying to find a way past, trying to weasel as any way he can past that car ahead of him, Amist. But he just can't make it happen. He's just too wide and robust for the Castrol car to get by. That's a spinner at the end of turn 3. Didn't quite catch who it was. Fotis Isaglau is spun. And he's plummeting down the order. He used to be a high midfield runner, but now he's in P16. Rest in peace, Fotis. He's always a pretty good midfield driver. Sad to see him plummet down like that. Deadhead certainly has the pace to get past Amist, but how's he going to make it happen? It's too hard to overtake in this track. The inside was open to him very briefly, and he turns Amist. Deadhead's turned the car, the number 3 Deutsche Post car. That's a little bit dirty driving from Deadhead there. He wasn't being given space, but Deadhead just thought to himself, I'll make my own space, and then plowed into the side of him. Deadhead's gone back to P7, by the way. Managed to make, in that kerfuffle, he managed to get passed by 2 cars. Just snapped him up. And a car behind Benjamin Lowin. Arbarsh is in the gravel, or was. He's going to be losing a little bit of time to Dave Ziska in P10. And I didn't see the move happen. Paulo Campos has lost the lead to Antonio Costa. Campos is going to want that lead back. He wants at least one race win to his name this weekend. Campos and Costa are both in at the top of their game at the minute. The pair of Portuguese drivers are battling out very well. They're too wide going into the turn 4. Campos makes it stick into first place. At lap 10, 2 minutes to go. Timo Reiter's in 10th place. He's making a very good comeback here. Starting at the back. His next target should be Dave Ziska ahead of him. Robert Amest is following Timo Reiter in 11th. Amest used to be in P5, but he got taken out by Deadhead earlier. There's going to be a little bit of steward talk about that one. But yeah, this is very good running for Timo Reiter. Ricardo Costa is having a little bit of trouble controlling his car at the minute. He appears to be cutting the track a little bit from bending his steering. Most certainly bending his steering after that shunt he had into the wall. Bart retires. He must have had a mechanical failure. Maybe he simply had enough. Either way, he is out. Two laps to go here at Brands Hatch. Let me try that again. 2 laps to go here at Brands Hatch. Antonio Costa is in P2 ahead of ahead of Darnell, and Campos is ahead of him. We've had a little bit of a spinner, so 31 of Deadhead. He's gone off again. He's dropping positions from P8. He's lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's in 13th. Better get back to speed quick. Paulo Campos is ahead of Antonio Costa. Costa won the last race. 1 lap to go. At Brands Hatch Indy. Antonio Costa is going to look for any way he can make it past Campos. 44 versus the 42. Monster Energy versus Orange. And there's contact. Sorceress Moraitis and the 24 car of Christian Kubovic have had an accident. So I was wrong. They would make contact again in the second race. Not sure what happened there, but I was going to be talking in the Discord about that one. Antonio Costa versus Campos. They're going to be bumper and bumper to the line. And that settles it for round 2. Paulo Campos wins the Brands Hatch Formula 4 Grand Prix. Race 2, reverse grid win from Paulo Campos. Well done to the Portuguese driver. And great effort from the other Portuguese driver, Antonio Costa. Very good effort from Andy Darnell in P3. Draw at the top of his game this round, capitalizing off of the many kerfuffles at the start there. There's going to be a few talks about that one after the race, but he managed to overtake everyone that got hit. Now he's in P4, Low in P5, Moraitis P6, Kubovic 7th, Ziska 8th, Timo Reiter has improved to P9 from P10. That from last we saw later in the race, and Lastra P10. And who used to be a front runner is Deadhead. He managed to throw it all away in 13th. Really, that is very unfortunate for Deadhead, for the Brother Alps driver. And it's also a little bit of a disaster for Pirelli as well. He's brand new here, but he never finished race 1, and he didn't stick around for the next one. I think he might have rage quit. But yeah, better luck next time, Jimbo. So that should be it for all the races today, buddy. We'll have to have a look for our next race. Right, there's going to be a 3rd round. I don't exactly know where it is, but I know it's going to be happening next week, and it's going to be good. Probably. I'll see you there sometime. This has been Michael Tuite speaking to you for at least 6 minutes off from qualifying. And yeah, I tried my best. I'm a little bit sick in a minute, but thank you for bearing with me. I hope you enjoyed this watching this race. I I know I did. So there's something. Yeah. All right. So I think this is about. I think that's a wrap, maybe. So we'll see you. We'll see you in a bit then. Michael Chu from Ireland. Slán leat. And Kubovich, don't forget to turn off OBS.